Well, MSNBC talk show host Martin Bashir resigning this week, 3 weeks after some disgusting comments about former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. He later apologized, but the network itself never responded. Palin reacted to his departure by saying, accept it and move on. Apparently, much of the mainstream media doing just that by not reporting on it at all. Judith Miller is a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter. Kirsten Powers is a columnist for the Daily Beast. Both are Fox News contributors. Judy, first of all, are you surprised that he either tendered his resignation or, more probably, MSNBC forced him out?
I'm surprised, John, that it took 3 weeks for it to happen. It should have happened almost immediately. I believe in free speech. I've made some sacrifices for it, but I don't believe in vulgar speech. I think it's corrosive to a democracy. I think what he said about Sarah Palin on the air was unacceptable, and it's just as unacceptable that the mainstream media did not cover it and did not pay attention, even though it's one of the most poorly rated shows on MSNBC. It was still outrageous. So the question is, where were the network standards? Why did it take 3 weeks and a vacation by him and an apology on the air and people beginning to become outraged about it to finally get MSNBC to either push him out or for him to resign? Why did it take so long?
Kirsten, if it had been a conservative commentator making those same statements about, Nancy Pelosi, for instance, there would have been a firestorm of media reaction, wouldn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I think even if somebody on FoxNews.com said something like that, it would be treated as, almost front page news by most of the media. This is an actual show on MSNBC, however lowly rated it may be. And I suspect if he had higher ratings, he probably wouldn't have lost his job. If you go back to Keith Olbermann, who said plenty of horrible and vulgar things about women all the time and never lost his job and was never really reprimanded as far as I know.
So is there a double standard, Kirsten, when it comes to media treatment of conservative political figures, especially females, versus liberals?
Yeah, there's a much higher toleration of attacks on conservative women. I do think generally attacks on women are sort of tolerated more than other things, but more than, say, racism. If somebody does something that's overtly racist, there's just no question. Or in the case of Alec Baldwin, he lost his job because people were, said he made homophobic remarks. There's certain lines you can't cross, but for some reason, misogynist comments or attacking women, particularly conservative women, seems to be fair game.
And Judy, you make a point of the fact that, somebody must have applied some pressure behind the scenes, but essentially he was allowed to resign here.
Yes, he was allowed to resign, though the letter itself that he wrote, his resignation letter, suggests strongly that he was pushed out because he says he did this, wrote his letter after meeting with the president of MSNBC. But, MSNBC in the double standard department took Mark Halperin off the air for calling the president a name we can't repeat on our network. And they took another commentator off the air after suggesting that the Clintons were pimping out their daughter. So if you attacked a liberal, that was unacceptable, but attacking Sarah Palin, that was fine. So I agree with Kirsten on this one. There's a definite double standard.
Kirsten, you and Sarah Palin probably don't share too many political philosophies. You did grow up in Alaska, I know. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the way that she's handled it?
Well, I think she's handled it exactly the right way. She's accepted the apology. She's been gracious about it. And I think that, as she said, she's probably become a little bit inured to these kinds of attacks because they just have been so over the top and insane for so long. Though this one does seem to almost, this one may actually take the cake, I think, of all the attacks on Sarah Palin. But I think she just, she accepted the apology and said, move on.
All right. We are going to leave it there. Thanks for joining us today for this
Thank you.
Coverage of the media coverage, I guess you could say. Judy Miller, Kirsten Powers. Thank you both.
Thank you.